Hello, I'm Maili Wong, Senior Portfolio Manager and Senior Wealth Advisor with the Wong Group at Wellington Altus Private Wealth. And I'm here today with a very special guest, a dear friend of mine whom I've known for more than 10 years, and his name is Ron Huntington from EMT Consulting. Ron is a veteran in the business consulting industry with decades of experience, and I'll tell you a little bit more about his background, but to me he's a mentor, a guru, a trusted confidant who has so much depth of character and experience that I value as a mentor who has helped us become better leaders and stewards of wealth on behalf of our clients over the years. And here to share with you today are some insights into how business leaders can navigate the current environment based on insights that he has gleaned and wisdom he has acquired over 3 decades of experience, especially in today's moments where there can be a lot of uncertainty, questions about the world at large. I've invited Ron in to share some insights that can help provide peace of mind to our listeners and viewers about how to navigate the troubled waters ahead. And so with that, I'm very excited to introduce Ron. Welcome, Ron.
Maili, it is such an honor to be in your podcast booth here and talking about some of the things we've been talking about all day.
Absolutely. So just for context, we've been meeting together all day today as one of our strategic planning days with myself and the team, something that is a repeatable and valued process that we've been doing now almost every quarter for the past 10 years.
Yes, in fact, more than 10 years. And it goes back to a chance meeting and an introduction at one of our workshops that we had a long time ago. And I can't even remember the place that we met, but the moment of our introduction has stayed with me since day one. We had instant, I think, chemistry, instant respect, and an instant commitment to one another and your success. And I think we've stayed true to that since day one.
Thank you. So Ron, maybe you can tell our listeners a little bit about what it is that you do and how you've helped myself and some of your clients achieve, really impactful success.
Yeah, what we do is pretty straightforward. We are experts at helping clients chart a course for their business. We generally work with fast growth companies that want to grow at 15, 20, 25% a year, and to do so on a continuum of improvement, discipline, and growth over the entire length of their organization's life. You mentioned that I'm your mentor. I sometimes refer to myself as your tormentor.
I can second that.
You can. The idea is to work with a team and make sure that they have a clear vision and path, that they have all of the elements working together to be able to grow an organization of talented people, and to make sure that those people are working together to implement a collective vision, a collective strategy, and a collective disciplined execution to deliver superior financial performance and results. That's really what it comes down to. And so in these trying times, and this comes out of the conversation we had today, we're on the cusp of some really unpredictable and turbulent times. And the question that many of my clients are asking is, what do we do to navigate this uncertainty? And that led to you saying, hey, can we record a podcast together and talk about some of these things? So I'll let you kind of move us on to the topics we've discussed earlier, and let's have a good conversation.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Ron. With that, can you share with us your insights on how to build resilience over time to perhaps be able to deal with this volatility and uncertainty that can be prevalent in, for example, what we're experiencing in today's markets, to help individuals or businesses succeed and thrive despite the challenges that they seem faced with in the moment?
Yeah, so we talk about building a plan and executing a plan to thrive regardless of market conditions. Now, there will be ups, there will be downs. I mean, there's no perfect straight flight plan that an organization can execute. It's really a question of how quickly do you make mid-course corrections when the turbulence hits? Does everybody have their seatbelt strapped on tight? And are they prepared to work through the turbulence and work through to the other side, where there's smooth, predictable air and smooth, predictable flight path to whatever destination. We call that their vision. So what is the vision that we are, basically our endpoint? Where are we going to land this thing and know that we've achieved a high level of success? And so the plan is what dictates that flight path and the success. We say that the strategy that you have should be built in a way that differentiates you from the competition. Because when turbulence hits, you want your audience, in this case tied to your core customer as a business, or to your core interest if you're a family, to be able to handle the turbulence confidently, and also to have a plan B and even a plan C that you can deploy quickly when you hit that turbulence. So you can stay on path, you do not panic, you know you've got control over more variables than you might think, and despite the unpredictability that is going to hit everybody, those who are prepared and have a plan, a contingency plan of things they're going to do that is triggered by specific events along the way, that will give you an advantage over the people who are flying blind. And so that's what we're looking at doing, giving you that certainty and that flight path to execute with confidence.
Thank you, Ron. That's really interesting. One of the things that we always look for in times of turbulence is quality. And
Yes.
Quality, the types of businesses that we're looking for to invest in on behalf of our clients, quality in the type of investments themselves, the way that it's structured, or the nature of the investment, and just the quality of perhaps the track record as well. Mm-hmm. So can you describe to us what kinds of qualities help to build resilient companies, resilient leaders, when you think of the attributes that are really important to look for?
Well, we have what we call the 7 attributes of agile growth, and these will serve any organization that deploys them. You have to adopt them and deploy them, and then execute with high levels of discipline from everybody, from the top of the organization, meaning the president or the CEO, all the way down to the most recently hired person that's joined the team. So we say it starts with, do we have the right leadership in place? Okay. Do we have leaders who understand their roles, that know what accountabilities, what authorities they possess, what decisions they can make, and what they can do to drive the success of the business? And under each of those leaders, have they built a team of talented individuals who have many of the same qualities? So we refer to that often as, how many A players have you built into your organization? People that live the core values and that perform at an extremely high level of performance day in and day out, with a lot less management attention than would be required in most organizations. So these are people that take intentional direction. They give it to themselves, they give it to their teams. They drive results without waiting for orders, and they do so with the best interests of the organization constantly at the forefront of their thinking. So it's leadership and talent are the first two. Second is, do you have a strategy that is differentiated from your competition in a way that makes you stand out in a crowd, particularly in difficult times? Do you build confidence in the relationships that you have with your core customers, your core clients, core prospects? Do they feel that confidence? Do they feel that they can address you with a high level of trust, that they can speak to you about their fears and their concerns, so that you can actually provide solutions to address their needs and address those fears and put them at ease? Then we talk about, do you have the right systems and processes in place to be able to navigate through the turbulence with confidence? Then it's, do you have the financial systems in place to know where you are? Basically, it's having your financial data is your GPS. Do we know where we are at any moment in time on this flight path? And do we know exactly when we're running outside the bounds of our comfort level and our safety net? And can we make those adjustments pretty quickly? So that's really the central tenets of the 7 attributes.
Excellent. Well, I'm so glad that we've been learning this from you and putting this into practice with very disciplined approach every quarter, and trying to move the needle every time to really set the intention and put together a team-based approach on how we're going to actually meet that goal each quarter. So I was hoping you could share what it was like to work with our team over this past 10 years and what your thoughts and insights are in terms of what makes us different.
Well, a number of things. First of all, when we set out working together, you had a vision. You had a pretty clear vision of where you wanted this to go. At that time, you were working with your dad.
Yes.
Who was one of a dear friend and a dear man on the planet. And slowly but surely, you had a vision to take the great foundation that he's given you and then take it to another level. Okay? And I think you've navigated that over the last 10, 11, 12 years that we've known each other very, very well. But that was the central vision. I want to 10x our performance and get to a certain level of success in this business. Now, 10 years later, we're getting very, very close to that level. We call that the big, hairy, audacious goal that you set. And I remember when we first set that, Maili, the people around the room, many of whom are still with you today, let out an audible gasp and the look on their faces, Maili, are you crazy? How can we do that? Well, it didn't matter that we didn't have the how at that point. We just had a commitment to move in that direction. And so you and your team have put into place the how-to because we've set the vision and they have helped you figure it out. And my job is really to help navigate you through, ups and downs along that path. And there have been a few, okay? However, I think that the strength of your team, you meet those first two criteria. You have great leadership on the team and you have great talented people and expertise that in the talent in your organization. So that has been, one of my joys working with your team over the last 10 plus years is seeing them grow and help you manage this massive growth that you've experienced year over year through a few interesting points of volatility in the market. When COVID hit in 2020, early on in the year, there was no playbook, okay? And your team got together. We maintained our connections. We had to go virtual because I couldn't come across the border. I live down across in the U.S. of A. Even though my heritage is Canadian in the family. I couldn't come across and you couldn't come down, and we just had to figure this out as we went along. And your team helped you figure that out, and we carried on as if not much had happened. The turbulence didn't matter, and you really picked it up and ran again with great confidence towards the vision of your big, hairy, audacious goal and your vision for where you wanted to take and grow this company. So that has been, leading companies to their potential is what I do. Working with companies like yours makes my job easier. So.
Well, thank you, Ron. You've been a tremendous mentor and instrument towards our success. And when I can reflect, more than 10 years ago when we set that big, hairy, audacious goal of growing 10 times our business to help clients whom we love and who love us to achieve and maintain a work optional life. It's really humbling to be here today, doing great work on behalf of clients whom we love and who hopefully love us. And it's all through that meticulous, disciplined approach to aligning our really very valued brand promises, our commitments to clients, the philosophies that we hold so near and dear to the integrity of what we do. Finding great people who align with that, can be on our team, who are an extension of myself and these same values, and putting it into practice. And I think I'm so grateful for the work that we do together. You're truly a valued member of my circle of trust. And I really wanted to thank you for continuing to be a very important relationship, and on behalf of my clients as well, because it allows us to bring our best selves every day to do great work on behalf of our clients. Any parting words of wisdom that you'd like to share with us today, Ron?
Well, I think you asked a question earlier today that really led to this podcast, and that is, what are your clients doing right now to navigate through the uncertainty? Right now, it's the day on the calendar is March 4th, 2025. We've had 2 days of highly volatile market conditions brought on by
just like the fell right beside you there. There you go. Perfect.
But we've had a couple of volatile days brought on by the imposition of the threat and now the imposition of tariffs from my country, 'tis of thee, and some things that are going on that don't make a lot of sense from a strictly economic, set of considerations. Okay. However, they're a reality, and so a number of my clients have asked similar questions. How do we navigate through this period? And I have said a couple of ways. First of all, take the long view. We have a plan. If you don't have a plan, you need to put a plan together that gives you confidence that if you play the long game, you can still win this and you will beat many of your current competitors because they won't have that. Okay? So thriving through this period is a matter of having intentional outcomes that you want to continue driving. Secondly, I tell them you need to have a contingency plan or a set of contingency plans with very specific triggers. That if these conditions kick in whole or in part, we go to a next level of alert. We don't want to react too soon, and we do not want to react way too late. So it's a question of having almost daily war room conversations with your key brain trust. Be able to say, let's assess the threat environment. Have we moved to, and we use DEFCON numbers, have we moved from normal operating progress, which means we're growing at 10, 15, 20, 25%. That has been kind of our goal. Are we seeing that drop off? Have we dropped off 5% from the trend line that we've been keeping for the last 2 or 3 or 4 years? If that occurs, DEFCON 1 kicks into effect, and we take a look and say, these are the changes we're going to make. Maybe not all at once, not in a panic, but we're going to start making the adjustments while we can still salvage top line and bottom line performance for our organization. Okay. Then what are the elements that would trigger a DEFCON 2, the next level of drop? So we take a look at it, a 5%, possibly a 10%, and then a 15% or greater drop. And these would be on the costs that you can adjust and control, the variable cost. The fixed costs, you really can't do a lot about those, but you need to have a clear path of what are we going to do to maintain our financial health and our competitive positioning as we drop through these different DEFCON levels. So nothing will surprise you if you know what the triggers are, and you also have thought through what are the adjustments we will make if in fact we go through these different thresholds or barriers. And I think that gives you confidence to know that you're not just waiting for things to take control of you. You really have control of the outcomes, the decisions, the adjustments that you're going to need to make to remain competitive and to thrive regardless of market conditions.
Absolutely. I love that because it's all about having a plan and doing the work ahead of time, being agile to assess on a regular basis. Our team meets, daily, but also weekly to review the portfolios to assess, what risks do we want to take and which ones do we want to trim? To your point, contingency plan, always have a plan B.
And it plays into the smart risk philosophy that your organization created. I mean, you created that concept. A little inspiration from your mentor and tormentor, but the reality is you've got the playbook. You know how to play this under any market conditions with confidence and with optimal returns for your clients. And I've always thought that you're out ahead of most of your competition with a very pragmatic, practical approach to helping manage your clients' needs and well-being. And that's your commitment to your clients is one of the things that gives me great joy whenever we interact, because it's so genuine and so heartfelt by every member of your team. That's their commitment, and your brand promise says it all.
Yeah, and that's performance that delivers peace of mind.
Yep.
And we have a strong dedication towards that as well.
Yes, you do.
Well, really appreciate you being here, Ron, and always being an important part of our circle of trust. And to our listeners today, thank you so much for joining us.